Hey everyone, it's Jelly Cards, and you're listening to the Jelly Cards podcast. We've been collecting since we were kids. Whether it's Pokemon cards or sports cards, being a collector at heart always comes first. You can listen to all our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And if you are enjoying these topics, please give us a rating and a follow on both Spotify and Apple, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So, if you are ready, we are ready. Sit back, relax, and as always, keep spreading the love of the hobby from your friends at Jelly Cards.
Did you look up any of that that Topps set for the Tokyo series that you sent yesterday?
No, I don't know if it's out yet.
I meant to look up the Tokyo.
I don't know. I found it on Complex, so.
So that's actually a really cool thing that I like that Fanatics, that like the MLB Fanatics and Complex is doing. I really like that they're all collabing on a whole set for this Tokyo series.
Yeah.
Because,
well, I mean, it's sort of. Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely waiting for the drop. The only thing I dislike though is that I think you have to download the Fanatics app. I think it's exclusive on the Fanatics app in order to get any of the collab merchandise for the Tokyo series. You have to buy
even
it
even the clothes and stuff, not even just.
I think they Fanatics has their separate Tokyo series, I guess, merchandise out already. So you can get like jerseys of like the players already. I know Seiya has some, and Seiya and Shota have jerseys with their last names in kanji. Obviously, Otani has that as well. I'm sure Yamamoto has.
And this is different than what they've released because they have a Tokyo series that they just released 4 days ago. That is not what we're talking about here. This one is specific to the.
No, I think that one's specific to the MLB, and then the one that drops Friday is the actual
like the Cubs Dodgers one.
Yeah, is the that's the Complex Fanatics collab that they're doing, which that stuff looks sweet.
Yeah,
I'm definitely dropping some money and getting some of that stuff for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I gotta see when this all drops. Are they dropping the clothes and the cards at the same time?
That would be actually very interesting if they did. They should. I would assume. Let's see. Oh, is it just going to be a Topps Now? No, it was an actual box that you sent, because I see Topps Now looks like, oh, that's not for the Tokyo. They're showing the Seoul series when they were in Korea. But let's see. What is this one? All right. Oh, available. It just says available March 2025. But they're showing for Topps Now. I thought it was an entire box that they were doing for it. But it just keeps saying Topps Now times MLB World Tour Tokyo series. So
you can buy the clothes on Complex.
Right now?
No.
Oh,
but you can sign up to get notified or maybe pre-order.
Yeah, so I signed up for the Fanatics one just to get notified when it actually drops. Yeah. So then I can go ahead and do it. But yeah, I think the set's going to be. I mean, the set for me, I think is going to just be a cool collector's piece to have. I doubt that any of those cards that you pull from this, whether it's going to be a Topps Now set or whether it's just going to be a regular Topps set, I don't think any of them are actually going to be worth value in the long run. I think it's just a cool thing that the MLB and Topps is doing now with these kind of world tours that they're adding into spring training, and it's just a cool collector set to have. Like, I mean, the cards look sweet. I think they have like the little flowers on it from the collab and stuff, I think too. Yeah, everything on the card.
It's very cool.
Yeah. So I mean, depending on how much money it is, I don't know if I would like rush out to like go and have to buy.
Well, I mean, I could
card
tell you the clothing prices.
The clothing prices I will for sure buy. The card set, I'm not sure if I will.
So you can
rush
get
out.
you can get you can get the cards on Complex too in 2 days, and you can get a box for $100.
Oh, actually, a box for $100. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, box is $100. Now is there only 25 cards in the set?
That's it.
It's the complete 25 card set plus one serial numbered parallel per box. So you get one hit for $100.
Oh.
And I know the big hit is there's a 1-of-1 Otani Murakami auto, like dual auto. That's like the big chase.
Ooh, that would be. I mean, yeah, I guess that would be. I mean, yeah, it's really you're paying $100 just to
get the hit.
Just to hope to get an Otani card that might be worth something. That's really it. Hey, you know what? For $100 though, I might toss one in.
Yeah, I mean, you're at least gonna get the Shota and Hap.
Yeah.
And PCA.
Yeah, Ian Happ, best player on the Cubs. You know?
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Best player on the Cubs.
Yeah, that's a problem.
But I'm going to get into a little show and tell because I like that we're starting off talking a little baseball because I brought out a card today that I wanted to showcase here, but it's more so of not every card that you buy is got to make you money in the long run, especially when it's an investment card. Sometimes you just get into this mode of I'm just going to just keep buying and buying and buying. And I think I bought this card, I think it was probably like 4 a.m. when I was like on my way to work. And I was on eBay just scrolling through.
eBay and driving, baby.
eBay and driving, man.
Safest
and I was
way to drive.
And I was just like, you know what? I saw it and oh man, here it is.
I had to pull over and buy it.
Look at this.
Oh, Jesus Christ, my God.
This is an HGA 9. I bought an HGA 9 of Jason Dominguez.
What were you thinking?
But this is not even, it is his rated prospect optic. It's a Panini Donruss
optic. It's like his second
card.
year, right, or something?
No, this is his rookie. This is a rated prospect. This is a rookie, but it's unlicensed. It's unlicensed. I bought it in a 9. You know how much I paid for this? Like $40-something.
Oh my God, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I paid Oh yeah.
That's a lot of money.
I think I won the auction at like $42. I bought this during obviously the heyday of the card boom though.
You're just anything.
It was anything Jason Dominguez, and that was at the time when HGA just started coming out and a lot of HGA cards were selling for a lot of money. I personally thought because HGA was one of the first card grading companies that was using computer algorithms in order to grade their cards. And like we were kind of mentioned a little bit on the previous episode, how, I'm kind of shocked that like algorithms, like people who use computers or AI or anything like that in order to grade the cards are not more valuable or not more prominent in the hobby because you have to assume it's a more accurate grade. But I'm guessing that's also probably why people don't like using them in the hobby because you're eliminating the human element and it's probably harder, I'm assuming, to get a perfect grade. So, but I don't even think HGA is even a thing anymore. I don't think they're a company anymore. I never see them. You used to see them like when you go to card shows.
HGA grading.
You used to see them when they was, I remember they were at the National one time, one of the last ones that was in Chicago. I know they had a booth there. So that was probably when we went, which was like, 2021, I'm assuming.
Who's that person it seems like there's just too many of them. Like
there are a ton of grading companies out there that...
Who's the person that Haley uses? That's like somebody...
I think that's Ace Grading. I want to...
Yeah, Ace. And then there was also that tag grading place that popped up.
So you brought up... Yeah, I think she uses Ace Grading.
Yeah.
And then, so you brought up tag grading yesterday. And then later on in the day, I saw a post come up on social media about Tag
yeah.
and how they raised their prices, and basically their prices now are equivalent to PSA. Like they basically just like copied and pasted what PSA does with their grading prices and their bulk orders and put it on there. But the point of the video that the guy was making was he's like, I don't think tag grading is as prominent in a hobby as PSA to where they can be charging the amounts that they're charging.
Plus, like, if they're using all AI and computers, like I'm
how
just
many,
gonna be like,
how many
what are they?
people
What's the labor cost? Like, what are we? Are you just paying upkeep? Are you just paying like server fees and like
you're probably paying for
computing
whatever
power?
Yeah, probably paying for whatever software you're using, because I'm assuming somebody else
It's weird.
is creating the software.
I would think that they would want to own that software, but maybe I'm wrong. But
maybe
Ace grading is in England.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, because you have Ace grading. I know Arena Club. I believe Arena Club does their own grading too, as well. I would not be surprised.
Another
eventually,
thing that I've heard Haley talk about
was Arena Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arena Club, I believe, does their own. They do where you can buy a subscription, and depending on how much money you pay for per subscription, they send you mystery packs of like slab cards.
Oh.
And then you can like, but like they'll put a big hit in each like subscription, and you could potentially get this card. And I think it's like an every month thing you get sent like a slab or something.
Jim Rome has his own showroom on Arena Club. Oh my God.
Yeah, Arena Club was becoming a pretty big company.
Jim Rome. Yeah, Jim Rome. Yeah, I guess
Arena Club was becoming pretty big. A lot of people started having them like sponsor their like podcasts and stuff. I know a lot of people were kind of joining the company and doing partnerships with them. I think Cards HQ had a partnership with them, because I remember
that's what I think. That's where
Jeff,
I heard about it from Haley and
I remember Jeff talking about it on his segments that he does on YouTube a lot, talking about Arena Club too. So there are like a lot of grading companies out there, but personally, I mean, it's hard to kind of compete. Like I don't see how like a tag grading or any Ace grading, Arena Club can compete with obviously PSA, of course, or compete with SGC, compete with BGS. I'm gonna say this because this will segue nicely into one of the topics I want to talk about. So you know how he texted in the group chat the other day, and I sent my personal order to SGC.
Yeah, and
I got a little worried because it said my USPS tracker said that it was delivered. It was delivered to Boca Raton, Florida, same zip code and everything, but I was not getting any updates on my order from SGC saying that they received my cards. So in my head, I'm thinking, and an entire week went by, and I was not receiving any updates. So I'm thinking to myself, great, I'm going to be
just came up.
This got sent to the wrong PO box or something. Yeah. I'm going to be out 4 cards. Now I'm going to have to try to see if they can refund me my money. I'm like, great. And so I reached out to them. One of the things I love most about SGC is how quick they respond. I mean, you can just send an inquiry. Hey, this is my question. And within 2 business days, they're going to get back to you. And instantly, one of their employees got back to me and said, hey, we did actually receive your order. However, they said in the email, SGC is experiencing a little of a delay because of the volume of submissions that they're receiving now. So he said, expect a little bit of a delay in your turnaround time. And then also, any future submissions, expect somewhat of a delay in us actually receiving your cards and getting them ready to like get graded. So I'm starting to think, man, a lot of people must be submitting with SGC now. And I feel as if that could be a huge factor of what's happening with PSA. And we were having this argument with...
well, there's not a we. I wasn't involved in this.
I was having this, not even an argument, more of, well, it probably was an argument, but more of a debate with John, because I proposed this question to John, and then I was like, oh, this would be a great thing to talk about on the podcast. I asked John, what would you rather have from a business standpoint? Would you rather have a PSA 9 or would you rather have an SGC 10? Because again, we were arguing back and forth about should we start using SGC grading versus only submitting to PSA. And John's response was, I would rather have the PSA 9 versus an SGC 10, which kind of blew my mind because why wouldn't you want the gem mint grade versus just the mint grade? So I'm going to ask you this before we kind of break it down because I was sending him examples. What would you rather have? Would you rather have a PSA 9 from a business standpoint, not from a personal standpoint, from a business standpoint, a jelly card standpoint? Would you rather us get PSA 9s or would you rather us get SGC 10s or BGS 9.5s? You can add them in too.
Why can't I get a BGS 10?
Well, to be realistic, are
BGS 10s not? Are those hard? Are those the Super 10s? Don't they have their own Super 10 market?
Yeah. They have a pristine 10, and then they have the black label 10. So they actually have two different 10s as well. But I think those are harder grades to come by. So let's just say the gem mint grades, which, obviously would be the SGC 10, the BGS 9.5. But John's saying he would rather have the PSA 9 mint versus the gem mint grades from SGC or BGS. So my question to you is,
do you agree with examples of
I sent the examples.
Prices?
Yeah. So the SGC 10s were selling higher. I couldn't
find... The only reason I would want the SGC 10 is because...
Crack it?
Yeah.
I mean,
because if you're confident that SGC is a better grading company than PSA, then a SGC 10 should be able to crack, provided you don't screw it up in the crack, which you can't ever guarantee. But SGC cases crack really nicely, really, really nicely and very clean. Actually, too clean because you could probably reheat that edge and seal it again if you knew what to do, because it cracked right on the seam, like one turn and the whole thing just like it was perfect.
That's nice. Yeah,
that's it was great.
Yeah,
and then we crossed over and I think we got a 10 from PSA.
Yeah, I think we graded
for the Jaguar.
I think it was an SGC 9 we had, and we cracked it, and then it got a PSA 10. Yeah, but that was of course during the time when obviously PSA was a little bit more lenient with their 10s that they were handing out. But we did, we benefited from it because we got a PSA 10. So that's the
way I would do it. I mean, it's like that's probably, we joke about doing that, but like obviously if you could figure out a way to clean crack everything and didn't screw it up.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're probably not going to get 100% crossover like hit rate. I think you probably majority of the time it would cross over to a PSA 10, and anytime it didn't, you'd probably make enough money the times it did to cover that and more. You know what I'm saying? Like even if you didn't always, even if you cracked the SGC 10 and it came back a PSA 9, maybe that only happens 25% of the time.
Yeah.
The 75% of the 10 that are 10s would cover all of your losses plus give you profit. So that's the only reason why I would take it. I would not take anything Beckett right now. I don't know who is still subbing to Beckett, unless you can promise me you're getting one of the black labels.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be tough. Yeah.
Like, I would not be subbing the BGS because, like, who still works there? They got to have like 5 people. Like,
I mean, they must be doing something within the hobby that kind of keeps the business alive versus just obviously strictly grading. But my comment to you about like if you were buying SGC 10s but for the purpose of cracking them and resubmitting them to PSA, the examples that I was sending to John, and I was using Paul Skeen rookie cards as it, no autos. I was just using a Prism refractor of his Topps Chrome rookie card.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then, so the PSA 9 that I sent of that card, his Prism refractor rookie, sold for $24.50. The SGC 10 sold for $62. I think it was like $62.50. And then a PSA 10 was obviously like $212. So there's a huge jump from SGC 10 to a PSA 10. However, if you cracked it though, and say that card came back and PSA went, no, we think this is a 9, That's a pretty hefty loss that you're now taking on the card. But to me, I believe, wouldn't an SGC 10 in terms of flipping the card gain more of a profit over time, as long as Paul Skeens obviously remained as dominant as he does versus the PSA 10? Like, I would believe the overall profit percentage would be higher with an SGC 10 because it's a gem mint grade versus a PSA 9 mint.
I think it depends on how you get it. Oh, I mean, if it's the 10 versus the 9 over time.
Yes, yeah,
I would think so, because especially if you're talking about somebody as big name as that, that's going to draw in people less in the know of cards, and maybe, and not in a bad way, more in the way like, oh, this is a gem mint and this is a gem mint, but this is cheaper, so I'll just take this one, versus like when you're talking SGC versus PSA. So when you go PSA 9 versus SGC 10, yeah, I think you probably have a better chance that the 10 will have a better resale value if you're trying to predict than the 9.
Yeah, because John's argument is that, obviously PSA is king of grading, and that he feels more confident that the PSA card is going to be the better overall investment card. But here's my thing with everything that's happening with PSA and how they're changing all their grading parameters and their guidelines and all this stuff. I don't see PSA 9s all of a sudden now becoming a valuable card. I don't see that the PSA 9 market is now going to start to increase again like we were seeing during the card boom. This is what I see happening with PSA. I think PSA 10s are going to become less in the hobby. I think you're going to see less PSA 10s being graded, which means now
that should make you happier, though, right?
Yes, in terms of like actual grading, yes. Like, I think that now that they're going to be more true to an actual grading scale, yes, I do like that. However, I do see that now if you're getting less 10s out there, those 10s now are going to become a lot more valuable, possibly even to the point where the average Joe collector in the hobby might not be able to afford a PSA 10.
Yeah,
so my argument to John was, well, if those cards say PSA 10's 3x, and now they're a little bit too hefty of a price to invest in, I believe SGC 10s or BGS 9.5s are now going to start to become more of a prominent card grade that a lot of collectors, potentially like us, or people who just like to collect cards, who are not big time billionaire tech investors, I think a lot of people might resort to, well, I'm not going to pay the $500 PSA 10, but you know what, I'll buy the $100 SGC 10 because it's in my price range. Like, okay. That's my argument. I mean, and if you agree with that or disagree with that, I think you're going to see a lot more SGC 10s and BGS 9.5 start to be sold, because I think it's going to be easier to acquire those cards from an affordability standpoint than it is PSA 10s.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, or I was thinking the only time that where PSA 9s are going to boost again is if you run into a set like that F1, right, or whatever, where all the cards just were graded or just printed like shit or whatever, and then, right, was it F1, whoever was telling us about that, or was it soccer or something, where you like the PSA 8 was really like a 10 of that set?
If it was F1, it was probably Clayton that was saying.
Yeah, I think it was Clayton. And then so that's the only time I can see that happening, where like they're gonna have to do I'm trying, I don't want to say it, but like they almost need to have that happen for the market to sort of reset, so PSA 9s can boost again. They almost need to just like grade a couple product releases like really, really, really tough.
Yeah.
To really like, we really got to like drown out this PSA 10 market right now. Whatever's out on the market will get gobbled up, and then like let's just kind of slow drip the 10s back in. I don't want them to artificially do it. If the cards are warranted a 10, then give them a 10. But like, if PSA wants PSA 9s and 8s and 7s or whatever to be valuable of modern cards, because obviously, like, if you were handing me a PSA 7 of a 54 Mantle, okay,
sure,
okay, like I'll take that. So, they're gonna have to do like what they did with the F1 thing and just but if that was because Topps just printed the set like shit, then I get it. That wasn't PSA artificially like pumping up their market, which is the same idea as to what I think these people do with their bullshit mega super 10s. Like, it's just like an artificial market that you can make, that you can create. So PSA almost has to do that with their base 10s. They're going to have to make them. They're just going to have to stop. Yeah, they're just going to have to stop being so readily available for new coming sets. And, eventually the older cards will be not forgotten, but less sought after, as we move on by 2030, unless you're only going to be looking up 2025 cards of the 3 or 5 best players that you've discovered are the best players 5 years from now. So whatever. And those PSA 10s will be whatever. But by then, if PSA is really going to start grading stricter by 2030, there should be a lot less 10s on the market, which could then bring your 9s and 8s up but then you're relying on people just being PSA fanboys, and maybe they're losing some of that. Again, the only reason I do it is because all my I need them to stack neatly. Okay? They need to all connect together.
Yeah.
So all these grading companies should have just agreed on one case.
On one slab.
Yeah. And then you do whatever you want on the inside, but I need them to all connect or it's not going to be good. So
I'm interested to see, and maybe they might even have this new Topps Chrome football set, I think will be a perfect example to look at now that.
Yeah, are any of those coming back graded yet? I haven't even looked. I can look
because now that PSA is changing it, and we can now see if any of these Topps Chrome football, once these Topps Chrome football cards start to come back, it's going to be interesting to see the sold prices for it. Because now this will be a good example to see, okay, well, how many PSA 10s are coming out of the set?
Yeah.
How many 9s are coming out of the set? And then ultimately, what is a 9 selling for versus a PSA 10? And then what is an SGC 10 selling for versus like the PSA 9? And then you can kind of make your determination of, okay, well, what card is? Yeah, you're just
going to have to let the market sort of tell us.
Yeah, you have to. Yes, you're going to have to let the market tell you exactly. I just ran into, I don't know why this is showing up, but a 2024 Topps Chrome Refractor of Shota PSA 10 Topps Chrome rookie card.
Not what we were looking for, but
it's a good price though. So we might have to buy that. But yes,
I think it's not an HGA, so
it's not HGA. It's not tag rating, so it's probably not going to be worth anything. But I think, I completely disagree with what John was saying. It just in terms of,
that's typical though.
Yes, but even if John and I didn't debate all the time in the group chats, I still wouldn't go from a business standpoint. I'm not. If we had a meeting and we sat down and said, "Hey guys, let's start buying PSA 9s," I'd be like, "Oh, let's pump the brakes a little bit."
Yeah, I don't know if we would do that.
Let's look at what SGC 10 sell for. Let's look at what BGS 9.5 sell for. So at least we're still sticking with a gem mid-grade. Now, I'm not saying, hey, let's run out and buy tag cards or start buying CGC sports cards. I'm not saying that, but let's not, resort to PSA 9s because I think that's a way riskier of a buy from a business standpoint because just how much PSA 9s have gotten buried in the hobby. Unless it's the case hit from a set and it comes back a 9, or if you pulled one of the out of 5s, it has to be an extremely rare card from the set. Whether, like I said, if it's a case hit, if it's a low numbered card, low number auto, RPA, anything like that, then a 9 can still be worth getting that grade. But if we're pulling just a base auto of a first Bowman prospect, and it comes back a 9, or we're looking on eBay and we're looking at 9s versus an SGC 10, I would much rather spend the little bit more money, get the SGC 10, and hope that card accrues value over time versus risking buying a 9 and hoping that, how much is that card going to increase versus the SGC 10? Like, and that would be my argument versus, what are you going to look at now if it's harder to acquire PSA 10s? Like, not even just from simply submitting your cards to PSA. It's more so of me scrolling through eBay. Am I going to start to see, these PSA 10s 4Xing now on eBay because it's harder to get that grade?
Yeah.
So that was my argument. I really wanted to talk about it on the podcast because I definitely wanted to get your opinion on it, because and it's interesting. I would like for people to, comment too. Hopefully, when we post a lot of these social media postings, some people can comment on what their plan of attack is now that, PSA is changing their grading guidelines, and see now are people now resorting to SGCs? This employee that emailed me, is he true that SGC is receiving all these submissions now because PSA is changing they up their prices. It's harder to get 10, so people are now resorting to using different companies. I mean, is Tag raising their prices because, hey, we're getting way too many orders now, and we have to now raise the price?
I just can't believe that there's so many people sending so many cards to all these different places.
That's what it is. That's what the hobby is now. The hobby has become completely an investment hobby. It's all about making money. How much money can I make off these cards? And some people, yes, might be loyal to a certain grading company. John's loyal to PSA. He likes to say that he's not loyal to PSA, but come on, like, I mean, I would think he's working for them now, with how much he hypes him up, but he's gonna love that when he listens to this. But that's actually another great segue into the other topic I wanted to talk about, is how much the hobby's changing and how much it's kind of changing into a money first hobby rather than a collecting first hobby. And we're seeing it, and I don't know why it's happening again, but we are seeing it a lot in Pokemon cards now.
Yeah.
Like, Pokemon cards and the Pokemon card market has gotten outrageous recently, especially when you talk about Pokemon scalpers.
Yeah, I'm looking at gem rate right now, and like TCG, there was 37,667 cards submitted for grading. The next one was baseball, and it was 10,749.
Oh my god!
Yeah, then football 8,300, then basketball 6,200. Yeah,
wow.
Good. I'm so happy basketball's getting buried, because basketball sucks.
It does.
The NBA sucks.
It does.
I'm so happy. So I'm really happy that the WNBA cards are the same price as the NBA cards. That's crazy. I'm so happy for that.
I almost bought a tin of WNBA cards the other
day
when I was at Walmart.
This is like,
I know.
Probably should have. If this is Caitlin Clark's
rookie. It had Caitlin Clark's rookie. Well, it was the rookie set. And it was her on the tin, too. I should have bought it because it was her on the tin, too. Yeah, that was dumb. I should have bought that.
Last 30 days, TCG, 706,410.
Oh, my God.
Baseball, 270,120.
So what do you think is happening? Like, why do you think people?
I think it's just like, well, it's got to be just Pokemon, right? Essentially.
Well, yeah, probably. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm guessing Lorcana, maybe.
Can I click into
Magic.
TCG and will it tell me how much? Oh yeah, well, it's all Pokemon, and then so it's Pokemon, Disney. Pokemon, One Piece, Pokemon, One Piece, Pokemon, One Piece, Disney, Pokemon. It's all Pokemon. There's not even Yu-Gi-Oh on here. Oh, here's Yu-Gi-Oh. This is probably most of these are John's. No.
So what do you think is happening in the Pokemon market right now? Why do you see just TCG? Not only is TCG cards taking off again, but Pokemon cards. stores are limiting the amount of boxes you can buy. All those Pokemon vending machines that are out there now are limiting buyers two per person, because these Pokemon scalpers are wiping stores out. And all the bots online, you can't get product online anymore. You can no longer go to a retail store and buy it because the scalpers are just wiping the shelves out completely. The vending machines are getting wiped out completely. So I don't understand what is happening in the Pokemon market right now that is causing people to just, buy anything and everything Pokemon related.
What is it? Prismatic?
Prismatic evolutions, yeah.
I'm trying to look to see on GemRate if they have anything that's... Oh, because this is not... Why am I in 2003? Okay, I was looking at 2003 or 2023's data. I don't know why that...
Honestly, it's probably still the same.
Yeah, but I don't want to look at that. Why would they show me 2 years ago?
That I don't know. I don't know what the hell you're doing over there.
This GemRate site is cool. Anyways,
I think GemRate's an awesome website.
SGC 8600 yesterday, PSA 8800. They're gaining.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna make John pissed.
Items graded yesterday, March 4th, 8800 with a star. Oh wait. Since June 22, PSA daily reporting has typically lagged by a day. So I don't think that number is actually accurate.
But still, John would say that is the dumbest decision to do.
Well, I gotta know. We gotta know what these actual numbers are. I don't know why. Is it because they're lagged because it's so high?
Actually, Prismatic Evolutions ETBs now are starting to come down on eBay. They were, when the set was first released, they were all over like $200 basically on auctions. They're now coming down to about like $150. So I think people I think people are slowly starting to like not have to just like spend a ridiculous amount of money. Excuse me. But I don't understand what is happening in the Pokemon card market right now that is forcing everybody to just wipe the shelves out. And realistically, when we talk about these like Pokemon scalpers, I don't think they're opening the product. I think it's simply to just resell the boxes. We're seeing what was happening in the card boom when you couldn't even get any type of product, sports cards, but now it's the opposite. Now sports cards are all over the shelves at Targets and Walmarts, but you cannot find a single Pokemon product on the shelf unless you want to buy, and the only TCG that's on there is Loricana and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, the two Targets by me are like barren. So I'm looking at, all right, so I'm looking at this year. The Prismatic gem rate is only 36% so far.
Interesting.
So 2707 gems out of 7549 submitted.
How many PSA 9s? Or how many just 9s in general? How many mint grades? Because I'm curious now to see, is it because people are not sending as many cards out to get graded? Or are they just holding the boxes and then just hoping that they can make money off of just flipping the boxes? And people are just moving boxes, because that could be a possibility too now.
Let's see and you want the Umbreon, right?
Yeah, because that's the best card out of the set.
There's 520 gems out of 1335 of those. So that's pretty good, right? I don't know. I have no idea. This is a cool site. I'd have to really like poke around on this and like really, but this is cool. This has got like everything you need.
Sure everybody. GemMint is an awesome website to use when you want to kind of see the breakdown of what's happening in the card grading.
Yeah,
it's an awesome website to like get a lot of like your information on. But I personally think so. Even though it's very hard to get your hands on Pokemon product right now because of scalping, and I do so. Pokemon is noticing this. So the Pokemon company is realizing what's happening within this hobby right now, and we're realizing the high demand for their product. So they did put out a message, I believe, that they said they're going to start reprinting sets. That they are going to start reprinting sets. They're going to put them back on the shelf so people can hopefully get their hands on the product. I mean, personally, for me, I think it's good for people who just like to collect and probably still play the game, but I think it's going to be bad overall for the people who use those as investment pieces, because now if you're just printing at rapid fire, you're going to water down the market. It's not going to be as valuable anymore. But stores are starting to realize it now too. I know a lot of stores are starting to go back to limiting the amount of boxes that you can buy, 2 per person. Like I said, with the vending machines are now limiting the amount of boxes that you can buy. But GameStop is doing a thing now. So you used to be able to pre-order Pokemon product on their website. They now stopped that. GameStop is no longer allowing you to pre-order online. If you want to pre-order product, you actually have to go to a GameStop store.
Cool. Yeah,
walk
get them in the door,
and in person do your pre-orders. So they're trying to combat, obviously, the bots. That, the moment this product releases online, all the bots go, and then it's gone in seconds, and it's sold.
Yeah.
So I like that. Yes, I like that GameStop is doing that, and they're kind of like, people are realizing it. But I think what Pokemon Scalpers is a good thing that's happening with some of these Pokemon Scalpers, though, is that they are, I think, driving the single cards market. You're starting to see a lot of these, like the big hits coming from all these sets that are getting released. Yeah. You're seeing them increase in value now. Like, so that Groudon that I had a PSA 10 of the special illustration rare Groudon that I sold personally. That card came from Paradox Rift. When I got the card graded, and then it came back PSA 10, and I just had it sit and wait. I waited until the new year. I told myself I'm not going to sell in my personal cards, but when the new year hits, my goal is to try to move a lot of my cards, like for 2025. So the moment January hit, I started selling all my stuff. At the time I got the PSA 10, that card, that Groudon SIR, was selling for $160. When I sold it in January, it sold for $380. Yeah. And so I was like, whoa, I'm like, what is going on? I don't see why there's such a significant jump now. Like, what is all of a sudden making people buy this card at a higher rate? And then when we did the Pokemon episode where we're talking about prismatic evolutions, I saw the Moonbreon now is over 3,000. When I was looking up the alternate art VMAX Blaziken from Chilling Reign, that card was once in a PSA 10 like a $400 card. Now it's like $700. So I think a lot of these, I guess, your set hits are starting to become a lot more valuable to collectors. And I think a lot of that is due to the fact that they just can't get their hands on the product anymore. Like, if I'm not going to be able to rip it, I'll just spend the money and I'll buy it in a perfect grade. And I'll eliminate the risk,
especially if the scalpers are jacking up the price, and then you're just because even worse.
Why am I gonna now rush to eBay to buy a Prismatic Evolutions ETB at $200 when they were first released? And how many boxes am I gonna have to buy at $200 each in order to try to hit the Umbreon card? I might as well just buy the Umbreon card at $1,000 raw. I mean. Because what am I going to do? Spend $200 on a box that should have been $65? Yeah, it's $65 sitting on the shelf, and now I'm skunked. $200? I'm not going to do that. So I think you're starting to see that if you do have these kind of set hits from any of the recent Pokemon sets that are coming out, you'll see
how these prismatic ones age too.
I mean, it might be better.
Started so high.
Yeah. Oh, they did. They absolutely.
I think there might be a lull, and then if you could jump in on the lull, there might be another pickup in a few years when they're, I don't know, they're going to release a set that triggers everybody to remember this one that will be like, oh yeah, remember those cards? Those are sick. We should get those. I'm sure those are cheap, and then they won't be, and then you can make money. So
yeah, there's so from Evolving Skies. So I wanted to ask you this too. We're kind of jumping all over the place here, but one of my buddies from work, he said that he went to a card shop that around here, and they had a sealed booster box of Evolving Skies, and they had theirs at the shop listed for $12.50. Is what so $1,250 is what I was listed at, which I thought was pretty accurate because the one I was looking at them on eBay, they're selling for pretty much roughly around like I think 1,150. I was seeing anywhere to up to like $1,200.
Yeah, that's just so much.
Yeah, but here's the thing: do you think buying that Evolving Skies booster box at $1,250 and letting it sit for another like few years?
That's too risky for me. That's like it's too high of a buy-in already.
But the set, but here's the thing though, there's a card in the set now that has been gaining traction, that's gaining traction again, and now that PSA 10 of Umbreon is over $3,000. And then, not to mention the Pokemon Umbreon, the V card, just the Umbreon V alternate art in a PSA 10 from Evolving Skies, one sold March 3rd for $545. Just the Alt V card. So
I don't know. I guess you could if you had sort of, I guess. It's probably not a terrible idea, but it just seems like a very high buy-in already. I'm looking at the set now.
Oh, so maybe some of these Moonbreons have gone down now, because actually now I'm starting to see anywhere from like 2,000 to like 2,500.
It just seems like it's
actually starting to slip a little bit. But I think it might be, honestly, at $1,250, I think that might be a good buy. That set has only come out since what? I think it was 2021 or 2022. I think the set came out. I think it was 2021 the set came out. But only in just 4 years, that box went from $130 to $1,200. And I think it could still increase in value as long as these cards remain hot. I mean, the Moonbreon is the best modern Pokemon card ever made. Potentially, honestly, you might even be able to say you could put it up there with one of the best Pokemon cards ever made, including the original WOTC cards.
Well, I mean, depending on, are you talking about just like public release cards? Probably. I mean, it's not better than like the Illustrator Pikachu.
No. If like just from like actual cards that you could pull from the sets, even from the WOTC sets, any of the Neo Destiny or any, I think the Moonbreon, I think you can make an argument it's probably one of the best cards Pokemon has ever made for collecting purposes. So I'm looking at it going, maybe at $1,250, it might not be a bad buy to have and just let it sit aside. If Luke was on this episode, Luke would be like, absolutely, buy it, set it aside, and let it sit for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then,
if you had that sort of cash that you could just let sit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because even some of the, even the Rainbow Rare VMAX Umbreon in a PSA 10, $135.50 one sold for. And that's a good price. So I'm like, any Umbreon card in that set, I mean, it's kind of worth the gamble a little bit, if you had the money for it. If you had the money for it. So, but yeah, going back to the Pokemon scalpers, I don't know, I can't explain why it's happening. Like, especially for Pokemon cards versus like sports cards, because that's what was basically happening with sports cards. You couldn't get any sports card product on the shelves. The sports card products were completely gone and empty, but then the Pokemon side, you can still get ETBs, you can get the tins, you can get the packs, and now it's the complete opposite. And I don't understand what's driving this insane, like, I have to go out and I need this. I was at I'm kind of
I can't even find a Topps Chrome football anymore. Like, I can't even find that. That would make me happy. I just wanted to rip those. I can't find it.
You know what?
Targets by me are just barren now.
I feel as if some of these sets that are released, like any of the sets that they believe are going to be extremely valuable, they're not going to put on the shelves. And I don't understand why. Because look at when Connor Bedard's
we didn't
Upper
even
Deck
see
series.
those. Yeah, we didn't even
Those
see those.
never touched. They never touched the shelf.
Yeah.
Never touched the shelf. And I don't know why. Was that just Upper Deck's plan is, hey, we're not putting this on the shelves and we're just going to force people to have to, I don't know, go on our website and buy it or do whatever, but you couldn't, they never were on the shelf. So is that like now a thing where we might not see 2024 Topps Chrome on the football on the shelves?
But they shouldn't be doing that. Like they shouldn't be dictating good and bad sets. Like they shouldn't be that aware of their own product.
Or do you think
which is annoying.
Do you think these chain stores like a Target, Walmart, Meijer, anything, do you think they're just not getting allocated the product?
That's probably more what's happening.
And more of this product is going to breakers. More of this product is going to breakers. They're going to hobby stores. They're going to online businesses. I'm thinking that's what's happening. I think your Targets, your Walmarts, and all that, all they're getting is obviously nothing but the crap. What people don't want. And then the best product is going to where they believe probably is going to, who's going to make them the most money in return, and it's probably your breakers, unfortunately.
Well, the breakers must be paying them more than what Target's paying them, because that's the only reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the breakdowns are.
The only thing Fanatics and Topps should care about is who's going to buy it wholesale from us more.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that they should care about. Them being so aware of their own product is super annoying. It's already hard enough to get these things. Like, I don't need you making it harder.
I truly think that a lot of these, and you said it perfectly there, I think a lot of these companies now are very aware of what's happening with their products, and I think they're aware of where their product is going. And I even think that they're probably aware of where certain cards are going. Like, I mean, that's a conspiracy theory to say, but I don't think you can tell me that, like, that whole, what happened with the Paul Skeens thing, with the Paul Skeens 101 patch auto, like, come on. The card was pulled by a dad and his son, and who live in California.
Yeah. And we didn't even see it, right? I mean, I know it doesn't really matter.
Like, I don't think so. Like, I don't think it was, you knew this kid wasn't going to buy. You knew this kid wasn't going, or you knew the kid wasn't going to accept the Pittsburgh Pirates offer for the card. You knew that wasn't going to happen.
Even if you live in Pittsburgh, you shouldn't accept that offer because he's going to be playing for the Yankees in like 4 years. So,
true. Yeah,
like,
they're going to. He's
like,
not going to stay.
He's not going to be a Pirate beyond his rookie deal.
Any good player that has ever played for the Pirates has gone somewhere else.
He's going to be the next Garrett Cole, and then he can keep his mustache now. So
true. Yeah, true. Yeah, Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole be on his way out, and they can just slide
Andrew McCutchen left
right in there.
Yeah, Jason Bay eventually left off of that team. McCutchen left off that team. Garrett Cole left off that team. Tyler Glasnow was on there. Austin Meadows, I think, came from them. Xavier Nady.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
this GemRate site, I'm going to have to poke around on here more. There's a lot of cool stuff. I'd say if you could find a box of Topps baseball from 1969, you should hold on to that.
Why?
Because there's only 3 Nolan Ryan 10s out of nearly 10K submitted.
Wow. Damn.
There's only 3 10s.
Damn.
I think I think the owner of the Diamondbacks has one or something.
Why am I? Wow.
I know
I'm drawing a blank on this.
John, I think knows who has them. That's what I mean. There's only 3 of them. There's people got to know who has them when there's only 3 of them.
Oh yes, for sure. It's the same thing with Ken Kendrick. That's why.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Chris Christie in my head. That's the only name that was not the politician.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Chris Christie.
Yeah. No, Ken Kendrick. Yes, and I think Ken Kendrick is one of the owners of the PSA. I want to say he has one of the PSA 10 Manals too.
Yeah.
He probably has the all-time best sports card collection. I think he's got on his way.
Golden, probably, right? I'm sure Golden's got a crazy PC.
If they're, if they're also collecting as well, but Ken Kendrick's like just an avid collector. He's got the Honus Wagner cards too.
Oh yeah.
I think he might even have one of the highest graded Honus Wagner cards as well. In his set's ridiculous, like absolutely ridiculous. That's why he was showcased on Golden's show in season 2, and Ken was trying to get him to consign some of his rare items, But I think that's a good place to end because
we're bopping all over the place.
Yeah, we were really all over the place towards the end there, but I don't. The hobby's, like we've been saying, the hobby is striving. The hobby's absolutely striving. I mean, the Pokemon card market is insane right now. It's unfortunate to see what's happening with Pokemon scalpers, but I do like that, companies, stores, the Pokemon company, they're all kind of realizing what's happening, and they're hoping that they can maybe reprint sets or at least keep product in stores for people like us, or for the younger kids, where the set's really kind of that's who the set's for.
Yeah,
I think
right.
the age is like 6+ for Pokemon cards. Like,
also, I was going to add, maybe I don't know how much of an influence, but if you haven't, or if, I don't know, maybe people, but the Pokemon TCG Pocket game is definitely making people interested, because
that's, you know what? Yeah,
that's probably boosting some interest, because people are like, it's actually it's great. I love it. I play it all the time on my iPad. It's great. Like it's fun. Like the TCG card game is fun now that I sort of know how to play. Obviously, it's not very hard to figure out because it's made for children, but like it's fun, and it's the same cards that you can collect out of the packs and stuff. So
yeah, that's true. I totally forgot about
that. Might be part of it. They're like, damn, I want this card in real life.
Yeah, so that came out, and then I think Pokemon just released a new game for the Switch too.
Oh,
I think they just released a new game for the Switch too.
That's also,
so that could be could be driving the card market, because they're coming out with fun games that are getting people invested back into it. It's like when Pokemon Go came out, and people still play Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
like, that's app's been out for I don't even know how long.
A long time.
Since 2017 or something like that.
Yeah, around there.
And people still play that game nonstop. And then next thing you know, Pokemon releases a Pokemon Go set, for cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it'll be interesting. So please, if you guys are listening to this episode and you enjoyed what the topics that we were talking about, don't hesitate to reach out. I definitely would love to hear if you're an investor of sports cards. Are you still going to grade with PSA even though they upped their prices, changed their grading standards? Or are you going to maybe look into an SGC now because they have a faster turnaround time, cheaper prices? Are some people going to resort back to BGS because BGS used to be king? Beckett was king before PSA. So are people going to start buying up BGS 9.5s? I'd be really interested to hear people's opinions on it. Also, hear people's opinions on what's happening with the Pokemon card market. Do they like that, the Pokemon company is going to start reprinting sets? Or are they worried that, like you said, is it going to water down the markets now? So please reach out to us. You can listen to all our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube as well. Follow, rate our podcast on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are trying to boost those up as well. I know John said he might start a new weekly series on
Twitter
X
or something.
Yeah, I think he's going to start. I think he's going to post something on every week on a Sunday. So you can definitely check us out on our X profile as well. And as always, keep spreading the love of the hobby, and enjoy our new intro, because this episode's the debut of the new intro. Finally, after all these times, once we switched platforms, we had an intro when we were using just our audio ones, and then we switched to a new platform. We started doing video podcasts, and I've just been too lazy to create an intro. But it was really the music thing. It was hard to try to find music that's not gonna get us banned.
Yeah, right.
So, but we have a new intro. Please enjoy it. It's gonna be for this episode. And as always,
they've already listened to it, so
Yeah, you've seen it. So yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed it. Definitely reach out. Hopefully you guys like the new intro. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on our podcast platforms. And as always, keep spreading the love of the hobby from your friends at Jelly Cards.